Good day, everyone. For teleSUR, I'm Cody Weddle in Caracas, Venezuela. For the first time, Europe has a government opposed to austerity. Alexis Tsipras has been sworn in as Prime Minister of Greece following his Syriza party's decisive victory in Sunday's snap elections. Tsipras took office in a secular ceremony, rejecting the religious oath used by Greek prime ministers in the past. Syriza took 36% of the vote, giving it 149 seats in parliament. That's too short of an absolute majority. It's already secured a coalition agreement with another anti-austerity party, the right-wing Independent Greeks. The victory of Syriza is seen as a major blow to neoliberalism and austerity across Europe.
Our victory is simultaneously a victory for all the people of Europe who fight against austerity, which destroys our common European future.
People on the streets of Athens have been expressing their hopes for change.
A little bit situation, it's unknown what will happen next. But as a young in my country, I think that this unknown it's better. You know, unknown it may be bad or good in the future. We don't know. But it's better than the previous that was for sure bad.
Well, I think that maybe hope is coming. I mean, things are changing. I don't think that things could get really more worse than they were. So I think it's going to be.
And let's take a closer look now at the man who will now lead attempts to roll back the austerity measures imposed by the European Union and the IMF. Alexis Tsipras began his political career in 1991 at the age of 17 when he led a student rebellion against educational reforms. At 30 years old, Tsipras ran unsuccessfully for mayor of Athens. Although he lost the race, he became a well-known figure, and in 2009 he was elected to parliament for the first time. Tsipras also has a son named Ernesto after one of his father's idols, Ernesto Che Guevara. The left across Europe has been celebrating Syriza's victory. The leader of Spain's Podemos, Pablo Iglesias, says his party will support the new Greek government in every way it can. The breakthrough in Greece is particularly important in Spain, where general elections are due at the end of this year. Podemos, which also opposes European Union austerity policies, is currently leading in the polls there. Other leaders have also welcomed Syriza's triumph. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro congratulated the Greek people for their commitment to democracy and welcomed the new governing coalition in Greece. Maduro wrote in an official statement that the Bolivarian government, quote, reaffirms its commitment to achieving development, peace, cooperation, and defending a just and multipolar international order, end quote. Also in Venezuela, a gathering of activists and intellectuals is taking place in the capital here in Caracas to analyze neoliberalism and human rights. The event is looking at the ways in which decades of neoliberalism in Latin America have affected human rights throughout the region. The event has been organized by teleSUR and Venezuela's Human Rights Office. It's 4 months today since 43 students from Iguala, Mexico were forcibly disappeared by local police, allegedly working in conjunction with criminal gangs. Now, family members of these students are rejecting the Mexican Attorney General's conclusions that the students were murdered by drug traffickers. At the same time, the family's lawyer emphasized that none of those arrested in the case have been charged with forced disappearance, which would be a crime against humanity. Clayton Kahn has more from Mexico.
Today marks 4 months since the 43 students from the teacher training college in Ayotzinapa were attacked and forcibly disappeared by police in Iguala, Guerrero. To mark the day, families and classmates of the missing students will lead what are expected to be mass marches in 5 different routes in Mexico City to finally converge in the city's main Zócalo Square this evening. Now, the demand of the families remains the same: to find alive and return their youth, and a just punishment for the responsible. Although the official investigation has rounded up nearly 100 individuals, including the ex-mayor of Iguala, his wife, municipal police, and presumed members of a drug gang, many rights groups accuse the authorities of irregularities. This past weekend, the independent Argentine forensics team, authorized to analyze the official evidence and who has the trust of the families, reiterated that it cannot confirm that 17 charred human remains, presumed to be those of the students according to the authorities, were found where the authorities say they were, placing in doubt part of the investigation. As of now, only one of the 43 students' remains, that of Alexander Mora, were identified. This is Clayton Kahn reporting for teleSUR here in Mexico City.
In other Mexican news, journalist José Moises Sánchez was found dead in the state of Veracruz over the weekend. Moises had been kidnapped on January 2nd. Now, according to the Veracruz Attorney General, the head of the municipal government and the mayor ordered the kidnapping and the death of the journalist. A local police officer has been arrested for his role in the abduction. Central American social movements are to meet in San Jose, Costa Rica ahead of the CELAC summit later this week. The grassroots organizations will discuss ways in which the region can deepen integration. They are expected to present a document to the presidents and heads of government attending the Conference of Latin American and Caribbean States. Also expected to attend the pre-summit event, Uruguayan President José Mujica. Following the revelation of new evidence, new theories are emerging in the case of the death of Argentinian federal attorney Alberto Nisman. The Argentinian Congress has announced it will review the case in the coming weeks as more evidence is analyzed. Authorities expect the release this week of information pertaining to the last phone calls made by Nisman before he was found dead. Now, many believe former head of intelligence Jaime Stioso was involved in the attorney's death. Peru's Congress is to discuss a controversial youth labor law reform. Critics claim the legislation has been tailored to benefit transnational corporations and limit young people's labor rights. The bill will reduce vacations and benefits for workers between the ages of 18 and 24 and provide tax cuts for companies which hire young people. To world news now. Ukrainian rebels are fighting back against government forces in the eastern part of the country. The offensive is the first in 5 months since the implementation of a bilateral ceasefire. The new push seeks to repel Kiev's attack on rebel-held territory and expand control in the east. As a result of the fighting, hundreds of miners have been trapped in rebel-held Donetsk. The miners were trapped after a power station was shelled. Rebel authorities say around 500 workers are trapped underground. At least 20 people have been killed in clashes as the Egyptian police cracked down on the demonstrations to mark the anniversary of the uprising against Hosni Mubarak in 2011. To mark the date, people took to the streets of Cairo to protest against the current government of Mohammed Sisi. Residents in Gaza are worried over continued clashes at the Rafah border crossing with Egypt. Our correspondent Noor Harazin has more.
It is calm and peaceful day here at the Gaza Strip. However, the residents are fearing what is happening in Egypt, what have been happening in Egypt for the past 3 days, all the clashes. They fear that such incidents in Egypt will affect the decision of the Egyptian government of reopening the Rafah border, and they see that the Rafah border will be closed for the next few days. Meanwhile, the United Arab Emirates said that they will be sending 175 tons of medical aid to the Gaza Strip in the upcoming days, and they are hoping that Egypt will open the border only just to allow these humanitarian aid, this convoy, to enter the Gaza Strip in order to help the residents under this crisis in the Gaza Strip to survive with more medicine, food, blankets, and milk.
Thanks to Noor. Syrian rebel groups are meeting in Moscow as part of the first round of peace talks to end the war in the Middle Eastern country. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov will be joining the talks. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has once again announced, this time during an interview with U.S. magazine Foreign Affairs, that he is willing to work with the United States in defeating the Islamic State in Syria. And we close today with the Actors Guild Awards, which took place over the weekend. Mexican director Alejandro González Iñárritu's film Birdman won Best Ensemble Cast. That suggests the film could be frontrunner for the Producers Guild Awards and the Oscars. Birdman has 9 nominations for the Oscars, which will take place next month.
Absolutely not. That's why 20 years ago I said.
More on those stories and others at our website. Check it out, telesurtv.net/English. Shara Begum will be back with you in just a few hours with the latest headlines. For TeleSUR English, I'm Cody Weddle. Have a great day.